Good evening, Dr. Bernita Smalls. Guess what? I am the founder of Life Skills Ministry for the empowerment of the body of Christ. I'm the pastor of the Second Bethlehem Baptist Church. I'm your coach for today. I'm going to let you know a little bit more about me. How about that? How about follow me? And I'm going to take you to a place that you've never been before with me. Be right back. Thanks for letting me serve you. I want you to know that when you subscribe, you promote this channel that sends hope, love, faith throughout the world to people that are hurting, that are dying for the lack of knowledge. I bless God for you. I'm ready to show you a very interesting, intimate part of my life. I want to show you where I got started, where all of this came from. I'm going to share something that goes back over 60 years. Listen to me quickly, and I'll be right out of your way. But when you leave me, you will be different. At least you'll think differently about me. How about that? At the age of 8 years old, I found myself in such a horrible place, so I thought. I was continuously sick. From the age of 6 to 8, it was horrible times for me. I'd had double pneumonia 2 times. I've had rheumatic fever. And that's a place that I want to start from. I had rheumatic fever as a child after having double pneumonia, being a very, very sick child. But guess what? I was raised in the church. I had always heard about prayer. And one night, a miracle occurred in my life that I really didn't understand then. But I was rattling with pain. I had been so sick for so long. Guess what? In the midst of that, the church that I now pastor, 28 years later, at the age of 8, I experienced third-degree burns. Oh my God, you did not know that. But I received third-degree burns from some chitlin grease that was on the total left side of my body. And it took years to heal. But in the midst of having double pneumonia, having that burn, then I have rheumatic fever. Oh, it was a hard time for my family. It was a hard time for the neighbors. And of course, it was a hard time for me. But my granddaddy, who I felt that could pray and get results, that man knew how to light up a church. That man knew how to make people shout before the preacher started preaching, just by the way he could call on God. And I learn to trust God through him. I believe that the way my granddaddy prayed, the things that he said, the emotions that I felt that God could answer his prayers. So when my back was in the corner and I was suffering greatly, it was suffering during the time where the neighbors would actually come in and they would take shifts with my parents. With my mother and my grandmother and my granddaddy. They would stay up. We had Dr. Frazier. If you were in Savannah, Georgia, you knew Dr. Frazier was the one. If black people got in trouble sickly, they knew that that was one of the men that were used. And he was our family doctor. Guess what happened that night? One night when Dr. Frazier left, and he said that he had done all that he could do and everything was left to time, I began to cry out and I began to pray. And my thing was, I wasn't concerned so much about tomorrow. I just wanted the pain to stop right then. And I began to cry out and I told my uncle, he was a little tipsy at the time, but I remembered, I said, Uncle George, I said, if you could get Daddy and Daddy come and pray for me, God will do something about it. Guess what? My uncle left the house and he went and he found my grandfather at the age of 8 years old. Guess what? When my granddaddy showed up, I could hear them. I could hear the people. They would say, Lonnie, she's been looking for you. She's been calling for you all day long. She's been crying out. when my granddaddy came in the room and I said to him, I said, Daddy, if you pray for me, God will stop it. I want y'all to know this day, my granddaddy got down like this. And when he began to get on one knee, the pain left. The pain did not come back. So that's who you're dealing with. When you hear about the Reverend Dr. Bernita Small, see, I know that God is God. I know what God can do. My granddaddy never had the opportunity to tell God anything. It was in the fact that I knew that God could do it. And I believed that if somebody talked to God, God would do it. And ever since that day, it didn't matter what circumstance I found myself in. If I could ever get back to that point where I remembered that God stopped the pain, I know that God can stop the rain. He can stop the sunshine. He can stop man. He can stop me. He can stop you. And guess what? I'm living proof that God will come through for you and for me. See you next time.
Thanks for letting me serve you. I want you to know that when you subscribe, you promote this channel that sends hope, love, faith throughout the world to people that are hurting, that are dying for the lack of knowledge. I bless God for you.